Welcome to Living the Grace Life. I'm your host, Jennifer Sakata, and you've made your way to the corner of real grace for your real life. Today's Real Life takes us to part 2 of our conversation with Kim Tschirret, founder and CEO of Hope Reins in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hope Reins is a ranch where rescued horses and hurting kids experience healing together. In last week's conversation, Kim shared the 4 skills horses teach us: trust, communication, boundaries, and leadership, and how those 4 critical skills help kids move from trauma to healing and growth. Adults too, for that matter. Kim believes horses, mentors, and Jesus are a powerful trifecta that help address the growing mental health crisis facing kids today. Kim shared Elena's story and how when she arrived at Hope Reins, she thought she was permanently damaged, but in time discovered that not only was she welcomed, but deeply loved and 100% redeemable by the grace of God. In today's episode, we talk about how God's grace honors the try. God doesn't expect perfection from us. He's simply inviting us to show up where He's already present. In our conversation, you'll hear about Joey, the blind horse, and his friend Speckles, who arrived at Hope Reins a little bit of a bully, but became Joey's eyes. Their story and the growing ministry of Hope Reins is beautifully portrayed in Jennifer Bleakley's book, Joey. Be sure and listen to the end of the episode for details on how you can receive your free downloadable digital copy. So let's jump back in as we pick up our conversation on Joey, the blind horse, and Speckles, the bully of a horse who became his eyes. Speckles was a bit of an ornery bully of a horse in the beginning, and this is what I remembered reading in the book. She said to Speckles, "You aren't untrainable, you're suffering." You aren't untrainable, you're suffering.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Joey's story and how Speckles fits into this. And what did Lauren mean when she said that? You aren't untrainable,
Yeah.
you're suffering.
It's interesting. It goes back to our kids too, because I think so many times we look at kids who are acting out and doing things or acting a certain way, and we just automatically assume they're misbehaving, their parents aren't good parents or whatever. And really, it's suffering. It's their trauma. It's how they act out in their trauma, right? And we see that hurting people hurt people, right?
For sure.
So one of the things, Hope Reins, one of the trainings that we do is called being trauma informed, where we look at our kids and we don't say, "What is wrong with you?" We say, "What's happened to you?" And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with our horses, right? If our horses are acting out or our horses are doing something that we don't understand, we ask ourselves a lot of questions. We don't automatically go, "I'm just going to beat you into submission," or "I'm going to just make you do this," right? There's no force of will for us with our horses at Hope Reins. We take them wherever they are. And we do the same thing with our kids. And really with Speckles, he was in so much pain. That's why he had to eventually be put down, because he was in so much pain. And so he was trying, and the unsafety that he lived in and the abuse and the neglect, and that really takes a toll on an animal and a person. And once we really shifted from, "I want to train you out of this," because this was the early days before we really understood the right way for us to work relationally with our horses, we realized that there's no training him out of that. There's receiving and accepting where he is.
And what's incredible about that, this is what I love about the process of redemption, because Joey is this blind horse that you and your team took on blind faith. You didn't know a lot about Joey.
Oh, it was the early days where I think, naive, but yes, we got
But
a
beautiful
call.
naivete. It turned out so beautifully.
Yeah, we got a call from the Rescue League in Virginia that we worked with, and they said, "We've got this blind horse that my 5-year-old daughter's riding. Do you want him?" And I was like, "Yes." But he
Are
was,
you
yeah,
crazy?
I know, but he had such an amazing story. He was an alternate to the
Mm,
Olympics in the height of his day. And I think what happens with these horses is they get sold into the wrong hands and
mm,
sold. And
sure.
he ended up in a field. They thought he was dead, along with a bunch of
Mm,
other horses that were dead. He was in Appaloosa and they have very sensitive eyesight. We don't know how long he was out there
sure.
in the sun baking with no food or water. And he was blinded from that starvation incident. Yeah.
Mhm. And then, so he comes to Hope Reins, and you've already got Speckles, who
Well, we
is
picked
not.
up Speckles at the same time. So they were on the trailer together, and that's why they
Okay.
bonded.
Okay.
Yep.
But what I love about that story and the redemptive piece is that literally Speckles became Joey's eyes, and
Yes.
they, in time, became inseparable. They looked for each other with and without eyes, and
Yes.
they formed this incredible bond and partnership. And
They
yet,
did.
going back to what you mentioned, Speckles came from this incredibly painful, difficult, traumatic space that didn't outlive Speckles.
Mm,
That was
yep.
still part of his history. But because of the work that you do there, you led him into a different future
Yeah.
that impacted another horse and impacted so many other people.
Yeah. Really
That is just
inspired. Mm,
grace, right? I
yeah.
mean, grace doesn't mean perfection.
Yep.
It's that welcome that's offered regardless of our imperfection.
Yes.
And I
Yep.
love that's,
Absolutely. You got
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So, talk to us, Kim, about the mental health crisis. You talk about this on your website. I know it's part of your promoting for Hope Reigns, but what is this mental health crisis facing kids today?
It's like nothing we've ever seen before. And we can
Mm,
talk about all the reasons. I think most of us understand the
yeah.
reasons, but
Yeah.
really what it boils down to is there are not enough resources or access to enough resources for kids, especially those who don't have the means to see a therapist. And even those who can, you can't find a therapist. There's just not enough of them to be able to
Hmm.
help all of the kids.
Yeah.
We've been so burdened about the mental health crisis for kids and how we can help more kids outside of our ranch, and so God's called us in the last 3 or 4 years to give away what He's given us. And
Oh,
so we have
yeah.
launched a new program. It's our academy where we're teaching and training other people to do what we do. And it was really the Joey book that has been the
Oh,
onset of this.
it's
Like people
amazing.
read it from, we have people in New Zealand that are doing this that called
Oh
and
my
they're going through our
gosh.
training program to start something similar where they are. And
Oh
we've,
God.
yeah, we put a course together that teaches and trains you how to build and launch your program because we want to help. And it's not our kingdom. It's not about Hope
Yeah.
Reigns. It's about whatever God's calling them to do in their community. But
Yeah.
just to let people know that listening, if they're interested themselves or they know somebody, to share about our academy and what we're
Mm.
doing.
And what you're doing at Hope Reigns really combines the therapeutic element outside of the office in nature, which we all know has a way of unwinding the impact of trauma for so many. Kim, there's another story in your book that really captured my attention. A young girl named Allie. Some people are going to read her story and they're going
Yeah.
to want to know more about her and where she is today and what she's doing. Will you fill us
Yeah.
in a bit?
Yeah, so Allie came to us when she was 5. She had just recently been adopted and she was mute selectively. She chose to be mute because of her trauma.
Mm.
Imagine that at 5 years old,
Oh,
imagine
five
what she
years
had
old.
been through to not speak.
Yeah.
But she wanted to work with Joey. And we really had to say, hey, Allie, Joey can't see. So if you're going to
Mm.
work with him, you can only do that by voice commands. So she had to learn to find her voice and speak again.
Gosh.
They had this beautiful relationship where she got her voice back
Mm.
using the blind horse. And she ended up in middle school and high school being in Toastmasters. Do you guys know Toastmasters, the
Oh
speaking
my
club? Like here's this
goodness.
girl that
Oh,
wouldn't speak. Like she experienced so much healing in that relationship out at the
oh,
ranch. And yeah, and today she is a thriving young adult who's in
oh,
college and is just doing fantastic. Yeah.
oh my gosh. Shout out to Allie, wherever you are, Allie. Oh my goodness. We are all so proud of you. I've never even met you,
Yes.
but your story is so grace rich. And I
Yeah.
love hearing how God gave you a voice and you chose to speak with it. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Kim, that is just an incredible story. Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
the power in the work of God's grace,
It
right?
is. You're totally right. You're totally
Renewing,
right.
coming forward, restorying, retelling. Oh, that makes me cry. There's my
There you go.
teary-eyed
There's
moment
your,
now.
there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I knew it would come.
Yeah.
Your story is too powerful not to get tender too. I want to go back to the book. You also share about two words that were a big part of growing up for you. And
Mhm.
it was this battle between worry and trust, worry
Yeah.
and trust.
Yes.
And there are different parts of your story where worry went out and where trust went out.
Yeah.
And it's not been a chronological linear path. You've been back and forth between both. So
Yes.
talk to
And
anyone
still
that's
doing that today.
listening.
So,
Okay, that's yeah, you and me both, sister.
yeah.
So talk to that person who's there right now and they're like, gosh, I don't have a horse. I don't have access to the kinds of things that Kim's talking about,
Yeah.
but I got a whole lot of worry. And I know I
Yeah.
want to get to trust, but I don't know how to get there.
I think for me, part of when I mentioned I was performing for God was trying to control. I don't
Mm,
control because I think I'm right. I control for safety. I'm constantly, and our kids do this, we see them doing it
yeah.
all the time. They're looking around. Who's coming? Where am I? Am I safe? Just that anticipation of what's going to happen because that's the way I grew up. And
Yeah.
yeah, for me, it was the constant worrying about the future and what's going to happen and are we going to have enough money or are
Mm,
all of the things that come with life, with my kids, with my marriage, with relationships and money and all of those types of things. And it's just like learning. I've had enough rotations and I'm so sorry if you guys can hear that. That's my dog who needs to go
oh, poor
out.
dog.
He's fine. Just please ignore him. I apologize.
We love all kinds of furry
I
creatures
know. All
around
my
us.
my my rescue dogs. So
That's awesome.
he's 15.
Oh, just as
Yeah.
old as the ranch.
Old as the
I
ranch.
love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, what's your
Yeah.
dog's
I know.
name?
Steeler.
All
Oh
right, give
yeah.
Steeler many years,
Yeah.
Lord. All right,
Yeah.
back to you. Sorry, little
Yeah, no,
commercial.
but it's just this what I've learned. I've seen God show up in so many, and I won't even
Mm,
say miraculous, just even the small things, like the
yeah.
small details. When you live your life with gratitude, like I think that's really important is to always be
Mm,
grateful no matter
mm,
your situation. And I'm not saying like when something horrible
yeah.
happens to you, I'm saying
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But God can bring good. He truly can bring good out of everything. And
Hmm.
I think when I live my life with gratitude and every day I'm looking for Him, right? I'm looking
Mm,
for
mm,
the small things and the big things and the doors He's opening and the people He brings and the
yeah.
words and the confirmations. It just makes me realize you are sovereign and in control. I do
Mm,
not need to try to control. Like I do my part. Like we're called, right?
yeah.
To
Yeah.
walk by faith, do the right thing and love people and love God. But just keeping our eyes open, my eyes open to what he's doing
Mm,
really helps me because I see him working
yeah.
and then I can trust that I don't have to worry and I don't have to try to control things. It's, I
Yeah.
think, the lens in which we see things and we see the world.
Yeah, I love how you put that, keeping my eyes open to
Yeah.
where God is present.
Yeah.
And it's not like when we're trusting, worry no longer exists,
Right.
or when we're worrying, there isn't the hope or the capacity for trust. The reality in these broken, wounded souls is that we go back and forth, but what's consistent in both of them
Right.
is God's presence. That's
Absolutely.
that's what I hear you saying.
Yeah, and that's
Absolutely.
what he wants is our faith. Again, honoring the try. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to always do it well, but I'm eventually going to go, oh, God, I'm doing it again. I'm so sorry. I see you. I see what you're doing. Thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you for showing me through
Hmm.
this person's words that you see me or that you're at work. Yeah.
And that's what you're doing with kids too. It's this repetitive habit of welcoming them to the opportunity, the choice. And that was a big part of Allie's story, right?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
quite a long time
Yes.
before she was able to take those initial steps to build
Yeah.
trust
Yeah.
with the horse,
Good.
going back and forth between trust and worry.
Yes, you are totally right. And that's
Yeah.
why we always start the ranch is a safe refuge, the
Yeah.
connection with the horse. They have to trust through the horse first
Hmm.
before they can get to the other things that we want for them. So healing can't happen without trust.
Yeah. And that speaks to so many other parts of our life. And whether we have a horse or not, which most of us don't, what you're talking about is completely relatable. This struggle we have in whatever our circumstances, whether it's big T trauma, little t trauma, or
Yeah.
something in between, stepping back with eyes wide open to recognize that God not only has plans and purposes for us, but his presence is bending near to us.
Yeah.
That's what keeps us away from the perfectionist track, right?
Yes,
It's that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tell us, Kim. So 15 years, that's incredible. Everyone, I just want you to take a little pause right now. And whether you're driving or you're cleaning your kitchen or whatever you're doing, I want you to ask God for continued favor over Hope Reigns and to thank
Mm,
God for the incredible ministry that he has unfolded in 15 years. So we're going to take
yeah.
just a quick moment. Go ahead and thank God for Hope Reigns. All right, keep doing that, and we're going to keep the conversation going. But Kim, I know that in 15 years, you have had a lot of sleepless nights and times when you thought you were going to have to close your doors, whether because of the combination of animals you had, or there weren't enough finances, or emotional capacity. You're raising your kids while you're doing all of
Yeah.
this. So let's talk for a few minutes about that space where our money's run out, our patience has run out, our grace has run out,
Yeah.
but God remains faithful.
Yeah, he does. And again, I think it just goes back to trusting, right?
Mm,
Because it's like, I know for me personally, and even at Hope Reigns, what I think the world tells us we need, right? Oh, you've got to have these
yeah,
things, right? In order
yeah.
to be safe, in order to be okay. And so, what do you do when those things the world
Mm.
says you need are running out and you don't
Mm-hmm.
have people and resources? We even lost our property with the property that we started on, and we
Mm-hmm.
didn't know where we were going. But God had something so much richer and bigger and greater for us, this new place that we purchased that you can't even imagine, Jennifer, the difference of where
Mm.
we were before and the 38 acres that we have now is just incredible. So much
Wow.
so that the first time I saw it, I said, this is too much. We can't do this. This is too much. What are people going to think? But it's not
Mm.
about me or what people think. It's about
Yeah,
God's glory. And for
yeah,
us, it's always been about Him getting the glory because you can't make up the stories. Like how
yeah,
we got our
for
new
sure.
place, you can't make it up. It's not humanly possible
Mm-hmm.
for it to have happened.
Mm.
And yeah.
Well, tell us
Yeah.
the story. How did you get this new
Oh my gosh.
place?
Yeah. So we found this property that a gentleman had passed away. This was his
Mm.
retirement. It has a 4,000 square foot log cabin that was custom built from British Columbia on
Oh,
38
oh my
acres. It was this
gosh.
beautiful cattle farm that looks like it's something out of Colorado. And we had a
Mm.
little 12 by 12 shed, an outdoor arena, and a porta potty at our old place.
Oh.
And we had no money. We probably were a $300,000 a year
Mm-hmm.
budget. And we got connected. A friend of ours connected. It was on the market for originally $10 million. And that people, the heirs kept dropping the price. And we came in and offered $1 million. And
Oh my
we had
gosh.
randomly gotten connected with a lady from the United States Department of Agriculture, their
Mm.
rural development department. And God's sense of humor is that we've never taken government funding because we don't
Mm.
want our faith
Yeah,
to be inhibited in any way.
sure.
And she just came along and came on a tour and immediately loaned us the money for 3.5% for 30 years.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was just crazy. We had not even uttered a word to anybody that we wanted to
Oh,
buy this property. And bam, we were under contract. And yeah, it was just,
oh
yeah,
my gosh.
again, can't make it up. And God's sense of humor, because I was like, no government funding. And he brings the
No.
USDA to buy our land.
Oh my gosh. And let's not lose the significance of this. So $10 million, $1 million, that's a 10%.
It
That is
is. I know.
that
I
10%
know.
tithe is ringing in my head
I
as
know.
you are speaking.
Yeah,
That when we will offer what we have, God makes it more than enough.
he really does. And
It's
I've just
beautiful.
found like my puny little prayer of God, I just need this. And then he ends up doing something
God,
that,
I just need $9
yeah,
million worth.
I know.
Drop in a bucket for you.
Yeah, there we
Oh
go.
my goodness. I do want people to know more about Hope Reigns and to support Hope Reigns. So I had not intended this to be a fundraising campaign in our conversation,
Yeah.
but that is the reality. So your kids go through and they or their families, they don't pay a cent to come
No, they
through this
don't.
program, which
They don't.
lasts for many months. And
Hmm.
so you do have continual need for funding. If someone is drawn by your story as they're listening today and they
Hmm.
want to be supporters or they want to be involved in part of the Hope Reigns ministry, how can they do that?
Yeah. 27,000 sessions in 15 years.
Wow,
20,
Kim.
yeah, 20 counties across the state of
Oh,
North Carolina. We've got families from Virginia and
wow.
South Carolina. So it's a big
Oh my
impact.
gosh.
And more than half of our kids live at or below the poverty line, and they have
Wow.
no way to get any sort of
Oh,
support. Yeah. So
wow.
Hope Reigns, it's
Mm.
reins.org is our website. And it's exciting this month. We're excited because we're heading into our Heroes for Hope campaign. This is where we
Oh,
fund all of our horses for the year, all of their care and their training and their feeding, everything, so that they can be
oh,
there every single day. For our kids, we have 17, so there's
wow.
a lot of them, and it's quite an endeavor. But what's really exciting, we lost one of our foundational
Mm,
horses, Ruka, recently, and we are in the process of looking for two new horses. So if people
mm-hmm.
support this, they're not only going to support our current horses, but they're going to support us being able to bring in two new horses. And
Mm.
it costs about $5,000 a year for a healthy horse to
Okay.
be a partner at Hope Reins.
Oh my goodness. So, friends, this is a perfect time for
It is.
you to get on the website. I'll be sure to put all the details in the show notes, but hopereins.org, everyone. And
Yep.
Reins is Reins, as in reins of a horse. So you can be in touch with Kim and her team there. How about you personally, Kim? How can people connect with you? There are parts of your story that are deeply relatable to many people.
My email is just kim@hopereins.org.
At some point, Speckles dies, Joey dies, some of the main characters in the Joey book. And then God leads you on an adventure to another horse, a horse whose name we find all throughout the Psalms. So, why don't you tell us a bit about one of your favorite horses right now and why
Yeah.
she's so significant?
Yeah, Selah. I mentioned the horse that I grew up riding was a saddlebred. It's a specific breed of
Mhm.
horse. And I always wanted to rescue a saddlebred. And so God
Oh,
brought her to me through Hope Reigns. And if anybody knows anything about saddlebreds, like she has such a significant story of abuse, like the worst abuse case in
oh,
our history, if that tells you
oh
anything.
my goodness.
And saddlebreds can be a little more high strung.
Okay.
And for many years, we tried to make her work as a horse in our sessions, and it just wasn't working out.
Hmm.
She came, like you mentioned, after Joey. But what I came to realize is that she was not meant for Hope Range. She was meant for me.
Oh,
She was God's gift to me. She was my horse. And I really had a hard time receiving that because,
mm.
again, it all goes back to
Yeah, that's
woundedness and
hard.
all of the
Yep.
things and having to
Yeah.
perform. So, Selah lives now right down the street at one of our board members' farms. She rescues her own horses and has, I call it Club Med for horses. Like any horse really wants to live at my friend
Love it.
Pam's farm, trust
Oh
me.
my goodness.
And she is just God's gift to me because I get to go out to Pam's beautiful farm and see her multiple times
Mm.
during the week. And we just hang out and she grazes and she's
Oh,
just my horse and she's
oh, I love it.
so beautiful and just a one person horse. It takes a
Mm.
special horse to do what we do with all of the people. And she was just meant for me.
Now, you often, when horses come to Hope Reigns, you often rename them. Not always, like as in
Mm.
Joey, that was his original name, but you renamed Selah. And what does
Yeah.
Selah mean?
Selah means pause.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pause, be still, contemplate. Yeah. Which I always
which,
have a hard time doing. I'm always going. I'm an 8 Enneagram. I'm like, let's get it
mhm.
done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so she really reminds me to just be still. And because that's what I do with hers. We just spend time together. Yeah. There's no
Okay.
performance with her.
That's just so beautiful. And the
Yeah,
more you are able to be still with her, the more able you are then to be present with those around you.
absolutely.
That is grace gold. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're going to close in prayer in just a moment, but is there one last thing you want to say to someone who doesn't have proximity to Hope Reigns or that kind of unique on ramp to God's grace? What do you want to say to that person who's listening right now?
I would just say, don't give up hope. And there's so many ways, if you really seek the Lord, that He has a unique way that He wants to connect with you. And that could be through your
Mm,
dog. That could
mm,
be, there's so many different things,
yeah.
nature, be in community, right? God intended for us to
Hmm.
be in community. Don't
Yeah.
be by yourself. The enemy wants us to isolate.
Yeah.
Reach out, build community. And you can always find someplace, maybe
Mm,
similar to what we're doing where you are, and go volunteer. God has a purpose for you, and He's gifted you with very specific gifts. And go find out
Mm,
what that is and what you're passionate about and pursue that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Thank you, Kim. Hear that word, friend. Kim, would you be willing to close us out in prayer today?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Father God, we just come to you and we're just so incredibly grateful for your love and your grace and your mercy in our lives. And most importantly, we are so grateful, Jesus, for you, that you came and you lived this perfect
Mm,
life to show us the love of the Father, Lord, and that you died for us. And thank goodness you rose again, Lord, that we have hope
mm,
that we're going to be with you in heaven someday, that you're waiting for us, Lord, and that you come back on a white horse. I
mm.
love it.
Oh,
You
I
come
love
back.
that.
We all come back riding our horses, Lord. And so I just
Oh,
love that,
beautiful.
and just thank you for that, Lord. And I thank you for each and every person that's listening, Lord, that you would just bless them, God, and that you would today, in some specific
Mm,
way that would connect to them and their story and their need, Lord, that you would make yourself known in your mighty and powerful way, the only way that you can. And we
mm.
love you, Jesus, and we pray this in your name.
Amen. Kim, thank you for taking the time to be with our Grace Growing community here. This has been such grace gold. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm just really super honored to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to share about what God's doing.
Did you hear what Kim said about why she named her horse Selah? Selah means to pause and reflect. It's the work so many of us tend to rush our way through if we do it at all. But here's Kim's and my invitation today, that you would take a few moments to pause, to reflect, to sit with God on where He has been present in your life. Whether your life's been filled with big T traumas or little t traumas or something in between, take a few moments today, where you are right now, to name 5 different ways God and His presence has come near to you. Maybe it's been through a horse, maybe a conversation or a text or a phone call. Maybe it's been a walk that you took, or a bird you've heard singing, or a bud you've seen opening. Whatever it is, take a few moments to pause and reflect, because in that pause, you will always find the person of Jesus. Thanks for joining our conversation today. If you'd like to receive a copy of Kim's and Joey's story, then be sure and check the show notes for your free downloadable digital copy. If today's episode has blessed you or helped you grow in grace, then would you be willing to share this episode with a friend? And if you haven't already done so, please leave us a rating so others might hear more about living the grace life in their ordinary, everyday moments, with or without a horse. As always, you can find me at jennifersakata.com, on Instagram at jennifersakata, or on Facebook at jennifersakata.author. Until next time, remember to live the grace life generously, friend. Grace for you, grace for them.